I'm Bryant, along with Stephanie. We're the Wandering Buckeyes. In this episode, we travel to Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. We're explored Revolutionary and Civil War sites, visit the first freed slave city of Mitchellville, along with golfing, shopping, and more. So let's get to it. Hilton Head is situated 20 miles northeast of Savannah and 95 miles southwest of Charleston. With a population of just under 40,000, it swells to about 150,000 during the peak summertime. We enter Port Royal area, where we'll stay for the week at the Marriott's Barony Beach Club. Friendly staff greets us as we head to the lobby for check-in. Okay, we're in unit 9328 in the Marriott in Hilton Head. We'll go take a tour. By the sea. Got the entrance into here. I'll take a look first. Here is a 2-bedroom. So this is the first bedroom as you come right off the foyer with a bathtub, vanity. Here's our 2-bedroom in Hilton Head. Kitchen area. It's the master room. Here's the shower area. The 2 vanities. Right over here is the pool. Marriott offers discounts for the local golf courses, so I headed over to the Barony Golf Course for an afternoon round at, get this, $65. Wow, what a deal. It's pretty hot, but still a great deal. Facilities are beautiful and was greeted with a golf bag pickup to get me on my way. On the first hole was 333 yards with lots of room to keep me in play and close to the water hazard on the left. The second hole was much more challenging with water on the front, bunkers either side, but I got pretty lucky putting it right on the green. It's going to be a great day here. We're down at Hilton Head, down here staying at the Marriott on the beach and everything, so I decided to take in some golf, and we're down here on the Barony course today. This place is beautiful compared to, of course, where I play, and nobody to witness, but feel like I'm doing a good job today. Never seen such nice bathrooms on a golf course, let me tell you. Another par 3 later in the course, water on the left and in the front. Laid it nicely on the fringe. Totally good with that, knowing where I could have landed otherwise. On this hole, I'm hitting a short drive just to be on the safe side, as there's a sharp dog leg to the left, unless you're comfortable taking it over the trees, but not for me. Of course, coming up on the 9th hole. Beautiful day, a little hot here. Headed back through the tunnel for the back 9. The rest of the round was pretty great. Played really well. Even got a birdie on the last hole. Almost an eagle, but he flew away. Later that evening, we headed over to Hudson's for dinner. It's the best seafood on the island, in our opinion. Located in the plantation area of Hilton Head, overlooking Skull Creek. If you know of a great seafood place, let us know in the comments. Here we are in Hilton Head, down here at Hudson's on the bay. We're going to try to get in and get some oysters, fish, crab, all that stuff. Oh, look at that platter. Hush puppies. Steph's got the grilled shrimp. Here we are. That evening, the sunset was spectacular. The next morning, we headed out for some shopping. Having blown out my golf shoes, I scored a nice pair of FootJoys at Golf Galaxy to continue playing rest of the week. Next, we head into the Coligny area shopping for many shops, restaurants, and more. It was hot, so I had to stop for some ice cream while Steph shopped. On our last stop for this day, we drove over to the Sea Pines plantation area of the island to shop and grab dinner at Harbor Town. A $9 pass is required to this section of the island, which we paid and were on our way. I had to have a quick stop to see one of the nicer golf courses on the island. This one designed by Peter Dye, who also designed the one at French Lick, Indiana, closer to our home. Green fees during September were in the mid 300s, although if you visit during the off season, you might score around for about half that. Next up is Harbor Town for dinner and shopping. It's hard to score a great parking place at Harbor Town, but on this one I received the seal of approval by this gentleman. Dinner at the Crazy Crab was great and seated quickly. Hudson's, though, still our favorite on the island. If you like, you can climb the lighthouse tower here. The fee is $7.50 per person. The next morning, I toured the Marriott Barony property with a walkthrough of all they have to offer. It's a beachfront, but finding a beach-facing unit will be challenging as they are booked months in advance when staying a week or longer. Shorter stays, you'll have better luck. Here's the entrance to the lobby. Got some outdoor patios here as well. Coffee area, little store that's open 24 hours a day. So it's nice here. People want to play card games, watch TV. Got a lot of the games that's over here, from kids' toys, Lincoln Logs. You can see all that stuff here. Books and not what. And for cooler months, they have an indoor pool. Then they've got a pool up near the front office. You can see a little smaller pool. I don't know that this one's temperature controlled. It's about 4 feet, so they have yoga and that sort of thing here. There's a play area right there for ping pong, foosball, games for the kids. And more activities here for kids, grown-ups alike. Different type of cornhole here. These things are concrete, so I'm not going to be moving these things around. Coming up next, I found this to be a place that a lot of the grilling areas you don't see too many people around, but this one draws quite a crowd, so you have to get down here early to get a grill. They're only full for a few minutes. They've got several of them running here. Down through here, got a nice pavilion, a couple of more industrial grills. In this area we have the fire pit, so after you get done cooking, if you wanted to sit around by the fire, that they can have in the evening. Of course, right now it's pretty hot. It's late September here in South Carolina, so the weather's just gorgeous, a little warm, a little humid. Lots of seating just to sit down and casually have lunch. Love this area over here where they have all the hammocks. Closer view of the pool. I think it's salt water. I was in it the last few days and didn't feel the chlorine, felt more like salt. They have a cafe here and pub, And so it's open up until 8 p.m. I believe, so it's closed right now since it's so early in the morning. Here's a view of the pool area. Oh, it's still kind of calm. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning, so not a lot happening here right now. Surprisingly, I thought the ocean here would be heavier waves, but I'm not familiar with this area, so it's pretty shallow. Small waves, haven't seen anything really large just yet. Might be hard to see, there's a boat back behind me here. And this boat over here, we went to the restaurant to Hudson's the other night. You'll see some videos of that. And these boats over here, they own 2 boats, 2 blue boats. And that's what they haul in their fresh fish, flounder, grouper, shrimp, all that. So they go up and down the coast here, and it's kind of neat to see the, I'll call it farm to table. Later that evening, we hopped over to Shelter Cove for dinner at Poseidon's overlooking Broad Creek. Although Fish Camp looked interesting on the opposite side of Broad Creek. We're here. Here we are at the Poseidon. The next day we visited several historical sites. The one coming up on the right is Zion Cemetery, a small but interesting and peaceful place that contains graves of 4 Revolutionary War patriots, Isaac Baldwin, James Devant, John Stoney, and Charles Devant. Charles Devant, whose grave we'll see shortly, was the only known patriot to be killed in action on the island. So here we are at Hilton Head off the business Route 278. Near the north side of Port Royal, where we see the Zion Cemetery and Mausoleum. So we take a look at this, and looks like an older sign down here that they've had. South Carolina, Zion Chapel of Ease and Cemetery. Established in 1767, built shortly after 1786 under the direction of Captain John Stoney and Isaac Cripp. So we're going to go take a look at all this and see what happened. We found some historical places here in Hilton Head. So here's the Zion Chapel of Ease Cemetery. From what I read on this, was a lot of back during the Revolutionary War time. I'll say a bit more about this on the video. Looks pretty neat, so we're going to go take a look around. See some of these cemetery stones, like this one right here is stuck back inside the tree. It's been there so long, and I can't read the dates on it. Looks like, oh, it's 1821. So not real old, comparatively speaking. And here's some of the burials right here. It says the Zion was shaded by moss-hung oaks. It looks like it's still that way today on the banks of the Broad Creek, which is back behind us. Really neat to see some of this stuff. The history, imagine what it was like back in the day in the 1700s here, 1800s. Some more over here, more recent ones, it looks like. This one with Captain John Stoney, 1749 to 1821. Ireland soldier in the Revolution against Great Britain. Pretty neat stuff. This is one of the more famous ones you may have heard about, that I've seen a lot written about here on the island. Charles Devant, 1750 to 1781, so only 31 years old. Revolutionary soldier, amazing. But we still have these things here to come and enjoy and remember. Right here, departed 1795. So yeah, many years ago. Some more of her through here. Nice little rectangle place right here. It's quite a monument there. You imagine what that was like when they built those back in the day. Some of these you can barely read them though. Well, this one looks more legible. 1825 is when he was born. 1858 is when he passed. Isaac Baldwin over here. More recent one. No, I guess it's not a more recent one. That one is Isaac Baldwin. You can see the original stone here. Born 1752, died 1826. And then they put down here a more modern day grass marker that you'll see for veterans. Again, fought in the Revolutionary War. We got a few more stops to make here on the island. Mostly Revolutionary War stuff. Some Civil War, some from the slavery days. On both entrance to the mausoleum are large inverted torches, which symbolizes life extinguished. So they're talking about these torches right here, so that when you see these torches upside down, it means that life has been extinguished. Interesting. I never noticed that before on some of these. The oldest one there, and this is pretty cool. Our son was an Eagle Scout, so 2024 Eagle Scout, Jack Gatlin. Kudos to him and Troop 245. Very cool. Love seeing stuff like that there, young men doing projects to help the community. On the right is Cherry Hill School. Built in 1937, was the first separate school constructed for African Americans students on Hilton Head. We're now headed over to Mitchellville Freedom Park. This park provides educational and historical interpretations that was once a section of Mitchellville, a self-governed town of formerly enslaved people founded in the early 1860s. At its peak, there were hundreds of homes as well as 4 churches, considered by some where freedom began. We're here at the Freedom Park now. This is a city, I think an area that where freed slaves lived. So here's a casting or portrait of Harriet Tubman. We're at the entrance of the Mitchellville Freedom Park, where folks that were enslaved were now free, could come to live here on the north side of Hilton Head, otherwise known as Port Royal. There were several battles waged here. We're going to go to Fort Howe after this, where the first of the black regiments were established in the southeast. This sign speaks of the black troops on Hilton Head over at Fort Howe. So we're going to be visiting Fort Howe here shortly, and we'll take a look at those remains that they have there. You can see the place is very peaceful. This beautiful little place here on Hilton Head. As I mentioned, here in Mitchellville in the Freedom Park, they're putting skeletons of buildings that to kind of mimic what the framing would have looked like. So you can see the red outlining down in here would have been what the house would have been like. Anywhere from 150 to 390 square feet was each house, so not very large at all, very small. Did have some streets, it looks like. Many more. It looks like they're starting to build some more here to kind of recreate how things looked here back in the day. The houses we see here are sort of silhouettes of the homes that the size that the freed slaves would live in here on Mitchellville. And so this area here is called Freedom Park. A lot of interesting background as we read each one of these through here. How they survived, built, fed themselves, had crops. Very ingenious of how they, and very innovative of how they made alternative foods. Kind of gives us an idea of where we are. So we're on the north side of Hilton Head, up near Port Royal, and this area is called Mitchellville, where the Freedom Park is located. You see down here the headquarters of the Union Military Department South. It's down in there. Here's a depiction of what a store may have looked like here in Freedom Park, and I guess you should say Mitchellville, back in the day, in the 1700s. Actually, closer to the 1800s too, after President Lincoln signed the Proclamation of Emancipation. We'll take a walk out here and look at the marsh. Here's a boat that may have been used out here for navigating the waters. Let's take a look out here. This looks pretty cool. It's beautiful out here. It's a perfect day. It's a little rainy, but the temperature is about 75, and couldn't be a more perfect day out here. Driving next to nearby Fort Howe, built in 1864 during the Civil War, whose primary mission was to protect Mitchellville, a freedman's town we just visited. Many of the freed slaves that lived in Mitchellville, in the Freedom Park that we just visited, were stationed here at Fort Howe. So this one says 1864. It's an earthen fort, so we're going to see what we can take a look at down here. Looks like this guy's leading us the way. Not sure how close it is. Looks like when they have sessions right here. This is wild. So this is the 1864 flag, the Union flag that was flown during the Civil War, though the Union never accepted the succession from the Confederate States. So they still basically said that, you know, we're still a Union. So the fort here was completed in 1864. So we're about to enter into this spot right here. So it was an earthen fort around here. Down here is where we just came from, Mitchellville. And that's where you've seen the silhouettes of the buildings where the freed slaves were living. And again, some of the freed slaves were now members of the Union Army here. That's the path to the north. I think we'll go down this way. And cool. Got me an information packet, so thank you to those who donate this. It's pretty cool. So I can read about that. Quite of an adventure here on Hilton Head for this week that we've been here. Being able to visit the beaches, and got to show you around our accommodations there at the Marriott. Some golfing, got to take in some golfing while we're here, shopping across the marsh, and of course this part right here is really interesting, I find, as the historical value. So back behind us you can see where there's gun platforms that are right over here. I don't know if this really picks it up very well, but we're going to try that it shows. And then right here's a gun ramp. You can see right here there's a gun ramp right there, and maybe I can see around through the whole property here. As you look around through here, there's a wall, sort of, kind of like we have Serpent Mound back in Ohio. Maybe not the same, but it's an earthen fort here where that's an earthen effigy. Really quiet here. It's beautiful, beautiful weather. So you can see the wall out through there, I think. Hopefully you can capture that on the film here. Really interesting. Back during the Civil War days. So we've seen things so far about the Revolutionary War. We're visiting sites here from Civil War. A lot of history. I did notice one of these where Hilton Head was just wiped off the planet. I'll say it like that. They just leveled the ground here through a hurricane. Although there were some residents here in Mitchellville that hung on and stayed, and we're still around. There's not much physical evidence left back from that time. Although they're doing some archaeological digs, they're finding some little pieces of this and that to see, to get more idea on diet. Because a lot of the documents, a lot of the diaries that they're around, folks that are doing historical research said that they have a lot of bias in them. So, truthfully, you know, the archaeological finds that they are really important because it probably tells us a truer a better story of that. So I have to understand what happened back then. So again, this is the flag as it was in 1864, and that was Fort Howe. Heading now to our last stop is Fort Mitchell on the plantation side of Hilton Head overlooking Skull Creek. No payment for entry, but does require a pass and the proper lane for guest entry. Well, I followed all the cars into the left lane, soon to find out that that was incorrect. I was guided to turn around and try it again in the correct lane for visitors. Trying to enter from the incorrect lane is no joke here. Fortunately, we were offered a day pass to visit Fort Mitchell, and as the pass states, nowhere else. Onward we go. Okay, well now we've arrived at Fort Mitchell. So this is on the plantation area of the island. So here's the sign right here. We're going to go take a look at this big fort, big or small. We'll see. A lot of the forts back then were all earthen. Okay, alligators may live here, so they told us to be careful of poison ivy, snakes, and alligators. So let's see. Maybe we'll get lucky and see one. We're coming up on the top of this knoll here now. I can see out here in Skull Creek. Looks pretty cool. Really neat looking here. Go through some of these areas right here. I trust I won't see any alligators up this way. I don't know much about alligators, but I do know I don't want to be near one. This is the top of it right here. We can see everything. Whew. It is clammy, hot, sticky. What other adjectives can I use to describe this area? One of the few artifacts, and I don't know if this is original or not. I'm going to take a look at it here, is a cannon. So pretty interesting. Again, we're at Fort Mitchell on the Skull Creek. Like it's been captured, covered over here. Let's see here. Maybe we'll see an alligator. Ooh, there's a chance. Seen something big splash down there. Looks like mud and everything right now. Just it's where the water, the tide is out right now. Otherwise it would have been pretty wet up through here. And looks like a more private area down through here. So let's take a walk around this way and see if we can find ourselves an alligator. Clear at the bitter end of it, so a lot of this you can see some of the earthen structures from it. There's some cannons on the other side of it, and down inside here. So this was a fortress out here on the Skull Creek. Out through here in the distance, see if I can zoom in quick, good enough, is you can see the boatway out there. That is the Hudson restaurant. So they have two fishing boats. You'll see some of those in our video as well, where they go off and get the flounder, all the fresh fish, bring it back to the restaurant same day, start serving it up. We ate there the other night and it was absolutely delicious. Fried oysters are my favorite there. We want to thank you for following the Wandering Buckeyes on our visit to Hilton Head. Join us next time during our visit to Congaree National Park near Columbia, South Carolina.